You are listening to Mushing on First Paw Media. Visit our website at mushing.com.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Burled Arch podcast. I am Robert and I am joined today by my co-host Michele, and we are sitting here at the Denina Center in downtown Anchorage, getting ready to head into the Musher meet and greet and the Banquet, which starts in just a couple of hours. So we're recording a little bit earlier today, but we wanted to rush down here to see if we can chat with a few of these guys. Michele, tell us a little bit about what is happening down here right now. It looks like April, doesn't it?
It sure does, Robert. And I can't believe how much anticipation has gone into this year. Everybody just clamoring for snow.
Yeah, and we just drove by 4th Avenue and Cordova, and there's absolutely no snow. I know that at the Mushers, at the meet, and I know that there is no snow. And at the media briefing yesterday, they were praying to the snow delivery gods that they will bring enough snow in for the Saturday ceremonial start. But it seems to be a hubbub of action around here. We see a whole lot of people running around in big parkas, so I assume those are out-of-towners, huh?
I would imagine they are, since it's about 44 degrees here in downtown Anchorage today, which is not necessarily unseasonably warm, but it is warm.
So let's set the scene. What's happening here on Thursday of Iditarod week? So early this morning, it was the Mushers meeting over at the hotel. They are no longer at the lakefront, I believe. They are at the Coast Inn. I believe that's what the name of it is, of the media briefing. So they got all of their information. And at the media briefing yesterday, they even said that there were changes to the trail as of yesterday. So they still are trying to figure out logistics there. Nothing major, just a little bit of here and there to make the changes, but I assume everything is ready to go. I saw some pictures of the Mushers meeting. It looked like everybody was attentive and having a good time, but now it is all about the Iditarod atmosphere here at the Banquet. I know that this is your first time, Michele, and this is my first time since they started the meet and greet. And the way that this is set up typically is they will have a bunch of tables kind of lined out in a row. Then you'll have all the mushers there where you can walk up and talk to and get autographs or pictures of, sort of like a college signing day. And then right after that, at 6 p.m. is when they will start the banquet. Are you interested in the meet and greet, Michele? And if so, is there anybody that you would like to chat with to get a quick soundbite?
You know, you described it as a college sign-in day. I would have described it more so like speed dating. I would imagine that that's what the Mushers are hoping for, is that you come by and you spend your 90 seconds with them and you move along so that we can get through this rather quickly. That being said, I know that the majority of the Mushers are more than happy to greet their fans, spend some time with them, and answer all of their questions and hear the accolades that the fans have to offer them. I know that a lot of the questions are going to probably be swirling around the trail conditions and the safety of the dogs, and I'm sure that we'll get into that a little bit later on with some of my 90-second interviews. As you guys might remember from last year at the Junior Iditarod start as well as the Iditarod restart, I famously walked around and interviewed as many mushers as I could for 90 seconds.
After the Mushers meet and greet, we will all file into our tables. I know that we are here because of a friend of ours, David A. Pike. He was generous enough to offer us a couple of tickets at one of his, I believe, 5 tables. So there's going to be a lot of people in the Pike contingent, but we are going to sit there and have a very nice meal. And as Mark Nordman said yesterday, it doesn't matter if you're getting a rubber piece of chicken or a filet. it isn't about the banquet. It's all about the rural communities of Alaska, which is what makes this happen. So we will hang out there for a little bit. After dinner is served, they will start the Mushers bib draw. And if you've never been a part of this, each musher will come up by order of sign up. And remember, they could sign up way back in June at the Iditarod picnic. And so they'll come up and they will pick a number out of a mukluk, and that will be their starting order for Saturday and then onward towards the restart on Monday. And I guess it's always best to sign up early, but it's sort of a luck of the draw with that mukluk bib draw number. They can say a few words, but this is nothing like the Finishers Banquet where they can literally take the stage for as long as they want. I'm sure tonight they will thank their sponsors and their dogs and their families and all that. But it's really pretty quick to get this done. Of course, they will show the video that they did. We were fortunate enough to see that yesterday at the media briefing. One topic of it is, of course, resilience, perseverance, and challenges. That's, of course, what we're dealing with here, and then there'll be some auction items going on and so forth. Michelle?
Well, you brought up the community. I have a question for you, Robert. Now that the trail has changed and some of the villages are actually different than in the traditional southern route and the northern route, as well as the Serum Run route, I'm wondering what that's going to do for those communities like Eagle and Grayling that aren't typically visited as often.
Well, they are on the southern route, and it's funny that you brought that up because Mark Nordman said the same thing, because in the last few years when they ran from Iditarod, they would go up and then they would hang a right and then go up to Huslia and then do that loop down and then around. But he said that he went out and talked to the community members in those villages of Grayling and Eagle Island and Anvik and those areas there, and he had already made a commitment to them. They were so excited to be a part of this year because obviously they're part of the southern route, which is where this should be. So he wanted to uphold that commitment. And remember what I just said. He said this is all about the rural Alaska communities, and he wanted to make sure that that was still a part of it because they had already done so much stuff to get ready. And of course, the logistics with that and shipping out drop bags and all that. I know Rob Urbach, the CEO of Iditarod, said they have been full steam ahead. They did 6 months of work in 2 weeks after they had to do that abrupt shift from Willow to Fairbanks.
Wow, that's absolutely extraordinary. You said 2 months worth of work or 6 months
worth of work in 2 weeks.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a big deal. So that is the banquet. And then we have tomorrow. Tomorrow is typically a little bit of a slow day in terms of what's happening with the mushers. It's time to get everything prepared and ready to go. There's usually last-minute parties and meals with their families and potentially dinner or lunch with the Iditarider, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Some kennel tours and that sort of thing. It's really all about the fans on Friday, and the mushers are putting on their happy faces, if you will, before they go into race mode. And that leads us right into Saturday. We talked briefly about there being no snow down here in downtown Anchorage, which is not atypical. They always bring snow in for this. I know they brought snow in for the Fur Rondy last weekend. All of that is gone. So they're going to have to get snow from somewhere and line the streets. And this is where the news comes in. I'm sure you saw online that they did change the ceremonial start a little bit. It's going to start a little bit later. It's going to start at 10:39 a.m. instead of the normal 10 a.m. They're going to do that because it's just going to be so fast. And
10:39?
10:39, they're going to do all of their ceremonies, of course. They're going to do the color guard and the national anthem, and they're going to do some swearing in ceremonies for soldiers that are entering into the military, all of those sort of things that they're going to do. Of course, they are going to have Iditarod, junior Iditarod champion Emily Robinson go out, but they are saying that there is a surprise musher that is going out as well. Emily Robinson will carry, from what I understand from the media briefing, she will carry some of Stuart Nelson's ashes on the ceremonial start. Stuart Nelson was the head vet that passed along not too long ago, just a couple of months ago. So they're going to carry some of his remains down the trail, and then they're going to start at 10:39 a.m. One of the changes that they are going to do is they're going to do 3-minute starts for this ceremonial start, and they're also only going to allow 8-dog teams. And that is really interesting because before there were many more dogs. I believe that they could have up to 12. So they're going to go down 4th Avenue, and they're going to hang a right at Cordova, and then they're going to go down the hill and end up at the Sullivan Arena. And one of the questions that was asked at the media briefing yesterday was about how long is that going to take? And the master of the ceremonial, Carl, said, I anticipate about 10 to 12 minutes. So it is not going to be anything like a typical ceremonial start, which goes literally over the hill and through the woods and ends up at the airstrip about 12 miles away. This is going to be, I think, about 3 miles. And the Iditariders, if you're not familiar with the Iditarider program, these are folks that bid on auction to be able to sit in the sled of one of the Iditarod mushers. Some of these folks pay several thousands of dollars to do this. They are going to make sure they do their best to hope that these guys are not shortchanged. So they're going to offer a catered lunch to the Iditariders with their mushers at the Sullivan Arena. That will be closed off to the public. So they're going to try their best to give them the best experience possible. And I would like to talk about that for just a second, Michelle. What do you think about that? Of course, you started bidding on that several months ago, and here you are, you come up to Alaska, and you potentially have paid thousands and thousands of dollars to ride in the sled on this ceremonial run. Obviously, it's a experience of a lifetime. What do you think? I know you've been a part of being in the sled and doing that whole thing. Do you think that they're getting shortchanged at all? I know this might start a little controversy, but what are your thoughts on that?
I don't. I think that part of the experience involves the ride down 4th Avenue, but I don't think that that's the whole of the experience. I think that meeting the musher, spending exclusive time with the musher and their dogs is part of the whole portion of becoming an Iditarider. I think the time that they spend with the musher after the ride is also part of the experience. I know that when you rode a drag sled for one of the Iditarod mushers a few years back, that Iditarider took all of you to lunch. And you explained to me then, some 10 years ago now, that really felt like more of the experience for them than it was riding in the sled.
Yeah, we had a good time. We went over to the Lone Star Steakhouse. That place is no longer here. And we did have a good little meet and greet lunch type deal. Got to know the Iditarider a little bit more. And interestingly enough, we are still friends and followers on Facebook to this day, and we talk from time to time, but it is a life-changing experience for a lot of these folks. We were talking about the fans coming to Alaska and being all bundled up, and remember, people are coming from literally all over the world, and I would imagine it's quite a bit colder here than some warmer locales, so you see the big parkas and the fur hats and the big gloves. Even right here by the Denina Center, people are wrapped up like it's Iditarod time, aren't they?
Yeah, and here you and I are in just regular clothes, wearing sweaters, with no jackets and no parkas, no mucklucks, just regular outfits. But we've been living in Alaska for quite some time, and we are literally experiencing a heat wave.
Yeah, it is a very interesting year. So I know we will be back on tomorrow. So typically, all of the festivities are going to be wrapping up here in the next couple of days, and then everybody will jump in their cars and head north to Fairbanks. And it's interesting because so many mushers that live in Fairbanks are driving down here for the ceremonial, spending a couple of nights down here for the very quick ceremonial start, and then jumping back in the car, driving about 6 hours north to Fairbanks, and then hopefully they're able to sleep in their bed for one final night for those Fairbanks mushers, and then right on the trail on Monday, very early at 11 a.m. before they are on the trail and on their way to Nome. Michele, anything else for this evening before we close, and then we'll talk about what we're talking about tomorrow?
Yeah, a couple of things, you guys. If you are following on Facebook, you need to follow on Iditarod, because no one is allowed to do any live filming during the banquet or the Musher meet and greet tonight. So we will be getting some photographs, we will be getting some sound bites, but none of that can be posted until well after the banquet has finished. And so if you're looking to watch this live, you've got to become an insider. So sorry about that. Otherwise, wait for us and we will keep you in the now.
Speaking of that, of course, they cannot necessarily control what the public does, but they were very adamant by saying no media person, any credentialed media person, is allowed to go live at either the banquet, the ceremonial, or the restart. And they said if they do catch you, they will revoke your media credential. So I know
they have done that.
They have done that. I know that they are very strict on that, especially for us media folk. So you will not see that from us. If somebody else does it, they are doing it at their own risk. Do what you want to do. But as they say today, the kids today want everything live and instantaneous. You're not going to get that unless it's kind of on the down low.
Well, Robert, it's time for us to go and make the best out of this banquet. Your birthday is just a few days away, and our anniversary is just a week or so away. So I think that we should go make the most of this.
Let's do it. So tomorrow we will be back on at our quote-unquote normal time at about 7 o'clock Alaska time. We'll do our predictions for the race, who we think is going to come in the top 5, our favorite mushers to follow, and a little bit more of the news and notes as we move through. So with that, make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts. And do us a favor, leave us a comment on any of those socials or any of those podcast players and let us know where you're listening from. And remember, you can call us with your questions. It is in the show notes, but you can find us at 303-578-9881. You can leave us a voicemail there with your questions. Please let us know who you are and where you're calling from, and we will do our best to answer your questions as we go.
Repeat that number.
303-578-9881. And with that, on behalf of my co-host, Michele, this is Robert for the Burled Arch podcast. We will see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Are you a fan of the great outdoors? Do you enjoy the thrill of speed and adventure? Then listen up. Introducing Mushing, your ultimate guide to the exciting world of dog-powered sports and mushing. Whether you're a seasoned musher or just starting out, Mushing has got you covered. Get ready to immerse yourself in captivating stories of incredible sled dog races, expert training tips from seasoned professionals, and gear reviews to help you make the right choices for your team. From the breathtaking landscapes of Alaska to the snowy trails of Scandinavia, Mushing takes you on a thrilling journey through the world of dog-powered sports. Don't miss out on the latest issue, packed with exclusive interviews with top mushers, in-depth articles on sled dog nutrition, and stunning photography that will transport you to the heart of the action. So whether you're dreaming of competing in the Iditarod or simply want to learn more about this incredible sport, mushing is your go-to resource. Subscribe now and get ready to unleash your passion for mushing. Visit our website at mushing.com or find us on your favorite podcast platform. Mushing, where the spirit of adventure meets the power of the pack.